Hello and welcome in. I am MissKinghorn and we are here in Manor Lords. And we are kicking straight off here with creating myself. Now, there are 9 options to choose from. I've got to say, only 2 of them are women. Slightly bad. But we've gone for this one. It is the one that looks most like me. And we're changing it here. So I'm now Lady Kinghorn. Because, you know, I felt like I needed a title in here. So creating the coat of arms on this side here. Loads and loads of different customizing, and you can create basically absolutely anything with this. It's amazing. I decided to go for a kind of simple one, but you can pick anything and lots of different options, and yeah, kind of do whatever you want with it in here. I decided to go for a dark sort of orangey brown kind of colour for the base, and then picking a symbol on here. I did think about the Tudor rose, I've got to be honest, but then there are loads of lions, eagles, dragons, unicorns, there's crosses, there's crowns, there's all sorts of bits and pieces. I decided to go for this one here, which is a little bit of a cross in there, and I decided to go for that. And so you can, as I say, customizing it, you can have as many of those on there as you can. I decided to go for one, and I've just scaled it up to go into there so it fits the whole sort of screen in there. So that is going to be my coat of arms in there, but as I say, there are loads of options that you can pick from to kind of create absolutely anything in there. But there are 3 scenarios: rise to prosperity, which is fulfill the requirements of your citizens, plan and rule your medieval town as you see fit without worrying about combat. We need to reach a large town settlement level. Restoring the peace. 2 territories in the north are claimed by an illegitimate baron whose castle is located off the map. Baron camps reside in the other unclaimed areas. Build and expand at your own pace. When ready, challenge the baron for the northern territories. In there or on the edge, grow your city and raise forces as quickly as you can. The lands are possessed by raiders, and undefeated defended settlements will quickly perish. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to go to rise to prosperity because I'm a lover, I'm not a fighter, so we are going to just build up our town without the need for combat or fighting or anything like that. I have left all of these settings on what they originally are, but you can change absolutely everything, so you can do kind of create as much as you can. There is only one map in here, but it moves you around, so every time you start a new save, it starts up somewhere completely different and lots of different things. But we have a message here: victory, conditions, growth. There, where others see trouble, you see potential. These lands shall become rich and prosperous under your skillful management. Reach a large town settlement level to achieve victory. Okay, so this here, let's get rid of the tutorials, thank you very much. This here is our little starting area. Now, this game is gorgeous, I have to be honest. I've obviously seen in the development and stuff the screenshots and stuff like that and how well it was all coming together, but I don't think I actually kind of realised how good this game was. The graphics are amazing. In here, like, you've got little wildflowers, you've got shrubs, grasses, the detail on certain things as well is amazing. But anyway, let's pull out and have a look at the actual map. So this is our territory here in the bottom middle in here, but we have a whole map here. Now, we only can really build in this bottom section for now. Maybe, possibly, hopefully, we will go and do some of the others. But each one has, sort of territory has a kind of set of buildings and like berries and iron, stone, clay, wild animals and things like that. They all kind of have the same, so it doesn't matter really where you start, you all have these. But this is our starting tile, shall we say. In here we also have some king's roads that go through. I can't delete those, but yeah, let's have a look at our overlays. So we've got lots of water coming through, always good for wells and things like that. We've got a couple of areas of ember, and flax is not really that much, but you can do some bits with it. In here, barley, there's little bits here and there of that as well. And then rye. Rye, I think, is pretty much the same as the ember. They kind of work on top of each other. So there's little bits here and there for those. The others are all in progress and don't really do anything at this point because this is an early access game. So there are bugs, there are little teething issues, and it's one of those things where I think you're aware of them. You kind of can predict that you're gonna see some. So it's not always me being really bad at it. It is just a case that there might be a little issue here and there, but what we're doing is putting in this road. Now, the road building tools in this game is amazing. So you can see here, I'm literally just clicking and it's curving it and it's making a really dynamic, movable, customizable place, and that is brilliant, especially for like a city builder or town builder like this in here. So let's get really building. We obviously have our camp onto the left. We've got this large grassy area up here, which I think is where we're going to build most of our town, kind of in and around that sort of area into here. But we have 5 unassigned people. We have no living spaces yet. We have 10 people, which is 8 adults and 2 children. We have approval rating of 50%, that's where we start off at. 100% public order. Regional wealth is only 50. 1 livestock, which is an oxen, in there. And we have 4 months of food. That is not a lot of things in there. But we also have, 20 stone, 10 tools, and 8 timber. And we have 20 bread in there and 20 firewood as well. So yeah, up here is obviously the main UI with lots of information about everything in here, and then there's also my regional sort of things over there as well. We'll come to those really when that comes into front, when we're looking at expanding and things like that. But we really need to get in some wood in here, so we're going to use this sort of wooden sort of forest area at the bottom here. I think that's going to be the perfect place to start, and so we're going to get in a logging camp. That's going to obviously help get the number of logs up that we need. It does cost us 2. We only have 8 to start off with, but that will build in itself as well. And then there's obviously other bits we can add in, like the sawmill and the wood chopping and stuff like that in here. But we have our resources are currently, or supplies are currently exposed, so we really need to cover those up in here. So we want a granary and a storehouse. Now, this little area in here, now, I love nature. I think that's no secret, so I'm trying to keep as many trees as I possibly can in here. So this little area here, I've kind of made a little offshoot road in here where we're going to place stuff, because I want to keep those little trees in here. And also there are some of the stone in there as well, which we will harvest and sort of collect at a later date. So that is now the granary and the storehouse in, and we're going to relocate the hitching post as well, and we're going to get that down so it just moves everything a little bit closer to sort of the main part of the town as well, into there. Right. So while we're waiting for all of this to be built, it shouldn't take too long. Things tend to happen quite quickly in this game. I have got it on 2 times speed, which I think is okay. I do end up popping it up onto 3 at times, but it works really quickly. So obviously we've got our exposed goods, and that they are deteriorating because of weather damage, but can't do anything until the granary is built and the stone house, which should be working on. We have 5 unassigned people who are going to be working on those, but let's go into a time lapse. Okay, so they are now both built and they are ready to go. So we're going to assign people to them. Now, the way that assigning works is you actually assign a family to that. So you don't just assign one person, you assign a whole family to that building. So obviously when they die, the children take over, and it kind of goes round and round in circles. Kind of thing like that. A lot better way of doing it, I think, than actually having a dedicated person to do it. And obviously they do just more than one task. They can be doing lots of there's lots of different people, they can all be doing different things into there. And so we have this stone around the background, but we are running out of food, so we need to get in our hunters. Now we have our wild animals and the back here, probably building houses way too close to them, but we are going to get our hunting lodge camp put in here, and then we can do that because we have 2 months worth of food left. So we are going to get those in there. They should then take care of that while we move on to the rest of it. So I want to keep these sort of stones here in the middle. Eventually we are going to create like a mining area for them, but not at the moment because we don't really need them just yet. I think that when we increase sort of the level and all of that, then we're going to need like stone buildings and things, but for the most part we don't. So this is another really cool feature of this game. This is the houses, and you can see here I basically have 4 corners, and I can basically create kind of any shape I really want with them. And we need 5, we have 5 houses in here, and so that's what I'm going to do here. I can click the minus button and that will reduce it down to like 4 or 3 or 2, 1, whatever. And yeah, but we need 5 for the first level of this, so that's what I'm going to get in. I also have 5 families, so that makes perfect sense in here. And as we are running out of food, let's get in our foragers in as well. Now these wild berries are here in kind of the thick of the woods, so we are going to pop that just down here and then link that all in with the road. We don't need to have a road coming through from these, but it kind of makes it a little bit better and obviously quicker for people or the and things like that to bring like the carts and stuff in to get all of this. So we have some meat and some bread in here, so that's all in, and then our storehouse has everything else. But a nice little time lapse of our buildings here. So they are quite small at the moment, but we are going to increase them as we go along. But we now have a development point. So this is a development wheel. Loads of different categories in here, from like your military to trading to farming to gathering and things like that. Now we're only really going to focus on like 2, maybe 3 of these areas in here as well. So we'll have to kind of pick and choose what we want in here. But in the gathering or farming, we have the heavy plough, the sheep, and we have the orchard, or here we have trapping, forest management, and beekeeping in there. And these are the 2 we're really going to focus on for the start, because obviously they're going to be the ones that we get our food, we get all of our sort of the building up of this. We can get onto the trade later on, but I'm thinking we can go for the orangery orchard, because then that opens up a lot more areas into here. It does take around 3 years for the orchards to grow to their full potential, however, so it does take a while, but we will get those in, and then that opens up a few other ones. We have some policies. I've not really looked at that just yet, or the development doesn't seem to be there at the moment, but that's probably because we haven't got anything up and running. Now, when I built these, I was aware that we had the option of building added things in the garden, but we need to have water and a church. Now the church is quite a big building, but the forager lodge is now available, so that's going to go into there. We are running out of people, so let's take the storehouse off as well. And people are wanting a market, so we're going to get that in soon as well. But we are going to grab out the little well in this sort of circular area here, and that's going to go in there, which then obviously makes them all happy. And you can see the underground water there as well is a perfect place for it. There is a lot of underground water through this map as well, so you'll be able to see here that water access is eventually going to turn yellow into there as well once I click off of it and then click back on, because I was too far ahead of the game. So yeah, you know, there you go, it's done. There is water. We still don't have a church, however, but I feel like that's going to be a perfect place for one of those into there. But before we do that, we are going to add in our stonemason, no, woodcutter, because we are coming up to winter and we need fuel now for the houses, because in the winter they use fuel and we don't have too much of that in here. So we're just going to get that in here. We're going to get this right next to the lodging camp, because that kind of makes sense of where that is going to be. Down over here in there, you can see already they are cutting a lot of that away, and eventually we'll need to get a forester in who will replace all of the trees there as well. But we're just going to get this little road in here. I like to try and keep as many things as I can connected in there. So we are running out of supplies, yep, as predicted, because yeah, we don't have that much firewood and we now have houses, so we need to do that. But we are running also out of people, not because they're dying, but because we are signing everybody to tasks and we are not like producing more people. So you can only get new people moving in if you have an approval rating of 50%. We only have 44 at the moment, and we also have no housing for them, which is a bit of a problem. Because obviously we need the people, but we don't have the approval rating for that in here. Now I'm trying to find the market. I've got to be honest, it was a little bit of a difficult one to find. I thought it could have been in like 2 or 3 different categories, so I was scrolling through trying to find it in here, but I actually did find it in the end. It's in residential, which I'm not really sure if their residential is the right place for it, but anyway, and sort of the same with like the housing in here. It's a case of like 4 drop points and you can kind of create a really nice custom sort of area. In the end I decided to add yet another road in to kind of build this up from the back here, because then we can have more houses in our sort of town area in here. Now the market has a sort of distribution area, so I really wanted it to be quite a focal point in here. I didn't want to go too big. I feel like we can maybe add to it later and expand it or create like another one, but I thought 20 would be enough stalls for now. I've got to be fair, we only, I think at the end of this we only have like 3 or 4 stalls anyway, so it wasn't too much of a sort of big deal in here. But let's get that built. Nothing really happens straight away until sort of individual people come along and build their stalls. So we have here a food stall and a wood firewood stall as well, and then you'll sort of see people coming up to this as well. So instead of getting goods from the individual buildings, they will now all come to here and pick up their goods as well. And another little road in here. We will eventually deal with the stone here in the middle as well. It is a rich deposit, which means there's quite a lot of it, but that's something we'll deal with later on into there. Right, trying to get the game to sort of run along a little bit here without really doing anything. I want the approval rating to go up because we really need people. That's the issue. We don't have enough people, and so until I can get more sort of people moved in, we need the approval rating to go up. I have kind of created lots of space for them, but you'll see there the firewood's now gone up from 10 to 51, so I think we can probably get rid of that person. But let's start over here and deal with our farm. Now we are going to work in here. Lots of sort of green area here, so I thought this would be the perfect place. We've obviously got a little bit of yellow here. It's not the best, but it's okay, and a little bit of yellow and orange at the back here, and then the rye is okay in there as well. So let's get our fields in, and I think this is probably going to be a really good point to leave this here, because we can come back next time and sort of see how this farm gets on, and if we can get up to level 2 and all of that into here as well, and see how far we can go with this. But if you have enjoyed this, then please leave a comment, and obviously subscribe to my channel. And I hope you've enjoyed it, and I feel like it's something maybe a little bit different, and we'll sort of see how far we get with it. But for now, thank you all for joining me. I hope to see you again soon, but until then, stay happy and stay building. Alright, bye everyone!